Hi, I'm Mandi Mystic. Thank you for booking a spiritual advisory session with me. I've pulled several cards here for you, and I have a pretty good picture of what's going on. With these situations, usually I don't have very much information to go on, so I'm reading blind. I may give you a few different possibilities of things, and that's only because I'm going off my intuition and my abilities, but I don't really have the full picture. And if I'm not correct about something, I want to have an alternative theory, just so you don't leave feeling confused. Of course, we do 2 follow-up questions with this service, and if you need any clarification on anything, then just let me know. I like to start all of my sessions by saying that I may touch on some sore subjects. I may say some things that just rub you the wrong way because it's a sensitive topic, and that's kind of why we're here. You can't grow unless you're uncomfortable, and growth is part of that, is peeling back the layers of our trauma and our bad situations so we can figure out what's going on and fix it. But just know, if I do say something that makes you upset or it touches a nerve, that's okay. Just talk to me about it. I do all of this out of love, and I just want to help. I will never belittle you for any situation that you bring to me. We're all at different stages in our healing. So this is a non-judgmental space. It's a confidential space. Okay, so with that, I've pulled 4, 5, 6 cards here. Now, I'm not sure how long you and your fiance have been together. I feel like there may have been a move. And so I'm not sure. I feel like, okay, so usually when I hear a move, I'm thinking like the internet, like you guys might have met online or had like a long distance thing for a little bit. Those are situations that have like their own set of characteristics. So if that is the case, I will go into that with you separately. But what I'm seeing right now, your very first question to me was, had there had been any sort of magic done on you guys? So instead of asking in that way, in such a general way, I asked if there was any like hexes or, evil eyes or anything on you. And I got the Star card. So the Star card is a really, really positive card. And, as you can see, the sun is shining, and, there's like the fire and the eye and the wings, and it's all just really positive forward movement. However, this card is a definite yes card. So what I'm thinking, throughout the reading, I kept seeing some people, some gossip, some maliciousness. It's someone may have tried to put a breakup spell on you, or maybe someone, it could be like generational curses. It doesn't necessarily mean that's the source of your problems. It's just not helping the situation. So for our first card for your second question, if you're going to stay together, you feel like he may not be telling you the truth. I drew the 7 of coins, and so the 7 of coins in a love reading it shows your mindset, the effort that you've put into the relationship. And it shows that you've had a lot of hard work, and you've really put your best foot forward in this relationship. You've really tried to make it work. You had a lot of hope for everything. In this traditional sense of this card, it would be a man who's like toiling over a field, and you would see the 7 pentacles. And, basically he's tending to his harvest, so he doesn't have to go hungry for the winter. And that's basically, what a relationship is. You're making an investment for your future. You're investing in your future family. And I can see that, you did this out of genuine love. And he may have been too. And then I move on to the Judgment card reversed. So when I see Judgment reversed, it shows that there may be some misjudging of the situation. And it really isn't a good omen for a relationship. So one thing I'm seeing with this card, the Judgment in reverse, it shows that you're judging yourself really harshly. Maybe you're feeling down on yourself. It's possible, you're suffering from low self-esteem, and I don't know if this is before you started hitting bumps in the road, or if it's just kind of the result of trauma and, just bad things happening. But if we have a self-defeating mindset, or we have the mindset that we're unlovable for whatever reason, it can really put a strain on our relationships. It causes an imbalance. And, if you don't feel good about yourself, it can create like this low vibration and just this negative kind of gray energy. And other meanings behind this card. We see the situation with the self-love being an issue. It can cause, insecurity, and like sometimes people will misjudge what their partner's doing. And people become overly jealous, things like that. This can also indicate malicious gossip. So, somebody giving you the evil eye, or maybe, his family's talking bad, or he's talking bad, or your friends are talking bad about you to him. Like some backbiting going on. This does show that you are going through a rough patch together. So I know energetically the cards are connected. You're kind of in limbo right now, which I do know. This card does show that you're in limbo. You're having a hard time making a decision. You don't know whether you should stay or go. I feel like you kind of already have your answer, but you're having a hard time letting go. You don't want to give up on something that may be for you, and you don't want to give up on something that may be bad because of a temporary situation. I completely understand that. Now, when you say you're not sure if he's lying to you, that's where your feminine intuition comes into play. If you can separate out, low self-esteem or just being mistrusting. If things don't add up and they seem wrong, or you're picking up on energy that just seems dishonest, if habits are changing, if explanations don't really make any sense, or if you feel like someone else or another thing is being chosen over you and your children, those are definite signs that there's something amiss. If you have to question whether or not someone is lying, they're probably lying. I can't say that absolutely for certain. But intuitively, I feel as though this is the case. I don't know what the lies are about. But if he's like running around and he's gone from home more, he seems disinterested. He's quick to anger. He's frustrated with you more. He doesn't want to spend time with the kids. He doesn't want to spend time with you. He's taking his phone when he goes to shower, takes it to the bathroom, won't let you go through his phone. We already know the answer to what's going on. If a man won't let you go through their phone, it doesn't matter how long you've been together. Toss him out. Toss yourself. Just go. I've been married for 7 years. We have the passwords to each other's phones. We don't really have to use them. But if I wanted to, I would go in there and just pick up his phone and look through it right in front of him. And he can do the same with my phone. And that is a very basic entry fee into the life of a woman who is serious about being with someone. You're looking at potential marriage. So if he's not willing to let you go through his phone, if you can't share his information in his phone, then sharing taxes, sharing medical decisions, sharing a life together, a house together, land together, all that, bank account, that's a really big step. I mean, that's the way I would put it to him, if he's not letting you check his stuff. Like, well, you expect me to trust you with the final say so if I get hurt and if I'm in the hospital, and you expect me to trust you with our credit and taxes, but I can't be trusted to look through your phone. I can't trust you to show me what's in your phone. That's a big problem. If his actions aren't lining up to his words, it doesn't matter what the truth is, because the relationship would be doomed. If you cannot trust what he says because it seems far-fetched, or what he's saying is just not explaining everything, it may be better just to go. And my third card here is the Lover's card in reverse. So this shows a relationship that started off quite, pretty passionately, pretty fast maybe. But after the honeymoon phase, it's starting to fizzle out. Passion's not as great as it used to be. Not as close as you used to be. So with the Lover's card, it really shows, like fear and negative feelings holding the relationship back. And it may be that you guys connect on a sexual level, but there are like some fundamental issues that are keeping the two of you from really excelling. If there's issues in communication, or you have different viewpoints on important things, if you two haven't talked about like your real long-term goals, your deal breakers, you may want to get on the same page, isolate where the problems are, and have a serious talk, because without resolving these issues, the relationship's not going to go anywhere. And I'm seeing, he doesn't seem to be as emotionally invested in the relationship as you are, from what I'm seeing with this. But on the other side of the coin, this card doesn't just talk about relationships, it talks about personalities and spirituality. This can show that you may be having a difficult time accepting responsibility for choices that you've made in your life. You may have gotten with him for the wrong reasons, or you may continually pick partners that fill a trauma pattern from your childhood, or they just kind of fit the same description, the same MO, and you keep repeating the same patterns in your relationships. If that's the case, you really want to get to the root of why you're choosing partners that don't complement you, or don't contribute as much to the relationships as you do, and why you're working so hard for someone that may not love you as much as you care for them. If you don't feel loved and they know about it, and instead of doing better, they decide to argue or make poor choices, make the relationship difficult, that's not each of you carrying the load 50-50. That's sort of the attitude of, this is how I am and you're going to accept me, you're not going to change me. And if you don't feel love, that's on you. But maybe a compatibility issue. But a lot of guys, they just want a mom to take care of them. And, they just give the bare minimums. Women don't accept that these days. We don't have to. You can't blame the universe or a hex or outside people or anything really for decisions that you've made. So, if this relationship is not working out, hexes are not the funnest thing in the world. They can cause things to go wrong. They could put a strain on a relationship. But if a relationship is meant to be, not meant to be like soulmates, but just two very compatible people who are willing to put in the work, a hex is not going to tear anybody apart. Like, if you're already at each other's throats, you're not compatible, your fighting styles are toxic. When you fight, you call names and you try to gut each other. Instead of arguing your point, you're arguing to kill. Those kind of dynamics, a hex will absolutely tear them apart, because they're already on the way out anyway. And then you have couples who face problems head on together with good communication skills, and they see every challenge as something that they tackle together. Yeah, they might snap at each other. Yeah, they might get mad at each other, but they're not going to get stressed out and completely eviscerate the person that they're with, or look at them, I'm mad, so now you're the enemy. If you have to go and apologize after every fight, or he has to apologize after every fight because they're demeaning you or they're using abusive language. That's not okay. And that's not sustainable in a relationship. I'm seeing 2 more cards here. Now, I pulled these as what I call clarifying cards, just to get a little bit more detail from Spirit to see exactly what the root cause of everything is, and see if I can just get some more details. So the first one of those clarifying cards is the Two of Swords in reverse. The Two of Swords up or down is never a good card. So the imagery is really important when it comes to tarot cards. The Two of Swords, we have each of you, and we have the both of you in battle together at each other. Now what this shows me is, remember I said this is like the root of the problem, or a good part of the problem. This is a card of fear or worry or being paralyzed and not being able to make a decision. Now, in a big decision like this, if you're thinking about leaving, I recommend going over the pros and the cons and trying to look at everything as impartially as possible. So I like to tell people, sit down and pretend that a stranger just told you their story about their relationship, and it's your story. And you're taking in all of this information. Now, if this stranger tells you everything that's going on, what would they say? Would they say, oh, well, you guys, you could work it out, you have to do this and this? Or would they say, wow, that sounds really toxic, you need to leave? This can also show like coldness and detachment, being emotionally guarded, which I think may be falling up more on his end. This can show lies coming out into the open. And it can show that you've been really foggy for a while. And you've kind of been like patching up the cracks in your relationship, trying to make everything work. But I feel as though you're going to come into a sense of clarity soon, and it's going to help you finally decide what you're going to do and which way you're going to go. I really recommend, if you feel the situation is toxic, if it's bordering on abusive, if it is abusive, if he's not willing to go to therapy, couples therapy, which can be difficult. Couples therapy may help, may not help. It depends on how narcissistic he is, or how narcissistic you are, because a narcissist can't go to couples therapy. It makes it worse. If you two are really willing to mature and dig your heels in and make this work, if you feel like this partner is the one for you, you're very compatible, you don't see yourself with anyone else, and you're not staying because you're afraid of the unknown or you're afraid of being alone, then try to work things out. But you always have to put your kids first. And a lot of people will say, well, I'm staying together for the kids. Well, sometimes that could be the worst thing that you can do. Speaking from personal experience, children would much rather have 2 separated parents that are happy instead of living in a household where both parents are very toxic, angry, fighting a lot, tense, drained. Even dinner can be tense when everyone in the house is fighting. You can still both be great parents. The Three of Cups shows more lies. The Three of Cups also shows sometimes it could show a pregnancy. If you're not meaning to get pregnant, then you may want to use some extra protection for a little bit. We are coming into Ostera, which is spring. And spring is like the height of fertility. And I'm pagan, so that's where this is coming from. Just be careful. I don't know if you can have more babies, but with everything kind of being up in the air right now, a baby's not going to make it better. It may be for a little bit better because everyone's happy about the baby, but it's just going to add more stress onto your backs that you may or may not be able to handle. Okay, so, sometimes we're on the phone. I upgraded you from the messages because I took so long to get back to you. I have like tumors and stuff that I'm trying to deal with, so it took me a little bit. I can't really ask you any questions, but we do get 2 follow-up questions, but I'm going to leave you with this to think about. 1, is your relationship toxic? 2, is your relationship abusive in any way? As in on your end or on his end? Is he demeaning you? Is he calling you names? Is he calling out your name at all? Because that is abuse. Does he bring out the worst in you? Are you fighting in front of your kids? Are you fighting about the same things over and over and over, but you're never reaching a resolution? Those are some things to think about. Will he let you go through his phone? When you say you're not sure if he's lying, does your intuition feel as though he's lying and he's trying to convince you otherwise with his words? What do you feel in your gut? Your intuition is going to come from your stomach. You're going to feel it back here if you ignore it. If you're angry, or I'm not angry, if you're insecure and feeling jealous and afraid, you're going to feel it in your chest. But when you know a man's cheating or lying to you, you're going to feel it in your stomach. I'm sure now that I've pointed that out, you're going to notice that more often. Those are some things to think about. Message me with your follow-up questions. I'll be happy to pull more cards. And, okay, hold on. Let's see. I usually pull an oracle card to kind of give you something to think about here. Movement. So what this card means is there needs to be movement. If you guys are stagnant and stuck on the same fight and the same round and round and round stuff, if there is not movement in the solution, there needs to be movement in your body and then out the door. Thank you very much for booking a session with me. I can't wait to hear your impression of this video and your follow-up questions so I can answer those for you. Have a wonderful day.